But speaking of which, I did saw a video from Xbox. Hold on, let me switch off the music for a while. I did saw a video from Xbox that I am kind of interested to share with you guys. So Xbox just recently released a video to mark their 25th years anniversary. I'm just gonna play. Wait, hold on. Let me see if I can switch on the. Wait, hold on. Let me see. Okay, and yeah, okay, here you go. All right, so this is a video that I want to share with you guys. Let's play. Let's just play. All right, you just watch. I just love it. I just love the trailer. Wait, I need to rewind back. All right, first things first, for them to start with this intro sequence, the original Xbox startup sequence, that intro sequence just brings back a lot of nostalgic memories, man. It's like, whoa, damn, Xbox, you are really going hard on the introduction. All right, I did remember that, if I can recall correctly, the OG Xbox was released in 2001, and um, I remember playing in 2003, like almost a full 2 years later. Because initially I was very skeptical when Microsoft decided to dive into into the gaming industry. So I was fairly skeptical of how they're gonna do it, because you're having giants between PlayStation and Nintendo and Sega. That I think was it Sega Dreamcast. So I was not sure how Xbox is gonna Microsoft was gonna create their own identity among all these giants. But the moment I saw this, okay, hold on, let me see if I can zoom first. All right, that Xbox, that translucent OG Xbox, that was the very first Xbox console that I saw at my classmates' uh, house. And I think the moment I saw that, I'm like, whoa, that's big, that's huge, that's ginormous. I didn't know what to expect. So that time I was still a PlayStation 2 kind of guy. So like I said, coming into the Xbox, you know, I was very skeptical out of it. But I remember the first game that I played was, if I can scroll this. Believe it or not, the very first game that I played on the Xbox was actually the Halo Combat Evolved, and I was surprised that I had a lot of fun, like lots of fun. I didn't know it was that. Um, how do I put it? The control feels kind of like right. The feeling of it, the joystick, the buttons, the shoulder buttons, and all that. I remember in Singapore, we have that. I remember correctly, this was a game. It was the controller that we used, and to me, Asian hands, we are small, and to have that big controller on our hand is super big. it's like, yo, I'm kind of wrestling with myself. And if I were to compare between the Xbox controller and the PS2, I would prefer any time of the day just to use the PS2's controller. But the more I start to use the Xbox controller, the more I kind of feel familiar, I would say. It's just that I think the that four colors, the yellow, red, green, and the blue button feels a bit off, and especially when you have that the black and the white button on the top, that feels completely off. But what I did like about the Xbox controller as compared to the PlayStation controller is that when you have the joystick on top of the D-pad on the left, and when you have a joystick on at the bottom side, like literally parallel to the D-pad, it feels awkward at first, but it feels more comfortable the more you use it and the more you play it, especially when you're playing FPS games and all, FPS games and all. So I feel like that was a very unorthodox method because we're so used to like the PlayStation. The PlayStation literally set the bar for having a dual sticks. Nintendo, GameCube had a very awkward, I would say, joystick layout that I'm still up to this day. I'm still not familiar. I'm still not used to it. But Xbox 360, they were able to take some a very strange idea and kind of make it work, I guess. And when you transition from the OG Xbox to the Xbox 360, oh my god, they were able to refine the controllers even more and make it even more work. And I feel that up to this day, I still think that the Xbox 360 has one of the best controller feel, the controller ergonomics out there, hands down, even up to this 2026 and all that. So yeah. But again, I want to say that, you know, for Xbox to really release this translucent edition for the 360s, I'm like, yo, that is beautiful, man. That is a very beautiful color. Can you imagine a translucent Xbox 25? That text over there, it just feels like whoa. And if I remember correctly, I think they just recently changed the Xbox logo from the flat black and white to translucent green. And I cannot help to wonder that they are going back to the root, the Xbox root, the where it's all about having fun. It's all about, you know, sharing that fun game moments with your friends. Um, like, how do I put it? How do I put it? I would say that in the Xbox era, the original Xbox era, there's a lot of skepticism. There's a lot of fear. There's a lot of unsureness whether Xbox can create their own identity. But transitioning from the OG Xbox to the Xbox 360, I think for me, Xbox 360 is where Xbox really took it off. You got Kinect, you got you know, all the games, especially the Mass Effect games, came out in the Xbox 360. It just feels so polished and refined. And I cannot help to wonder that is that the route that they're going to go back to? Because from Xbox to Xbox 360, I felt that Xbox 360 is like the golden era of Xbox in general. I feel that they really set the bar very high. But when they go from Xbox 360 to Xbox One, I'm like, it feels very clean, polished, sterile. And even the logo doesn't excite me, the Xbox One logo. It feels very like corporate, like, okay, we're here just for your money, the kind of like vibe, which I don't really like it. And I understand that the Xbox One it was such a very low period in the Xbox history. I don't blame them also. But from Xbox One, I think from Xbox One coming to Xbox Series X and S, I think they are trying very hard to go back to their root. But it's just that I feel that Xbox Series X and I think they kind of like miss the mark, I would say, because it just feels like they're announcing games after games after games, and they're announcing a lot of acquisitions with a lot of great studios and all that. But it's just that they are not releasing that much games that I was hoping for. And even if they do release, it just feels a bit unpolished, uninspiring. It's just that it feels like they are just publishing games just for the sake of publishing games, which I feel that that's not Xbox. Xbox is all about having fun. You know, Xbox is all about seeing, the creators like gushing about, Xbox is such a great place to work, to create their games on. It's like, when the developers hold onto that Xbox development kit, they can see a lot of potential. They can see a lot of funness. I mean, when they develop something, you can really feel the love of doing it. Like all the creative juice just flowing in, and they were able to kind of like find the bugs, fix the bugs, because they know that you need to release a very polished game for the gamers to play with. There's no room to like patch up. Back then, it's all about if you release a game with a lot of bugs, chances are that is more of like a financial failures for the games, because nobody wants to play a game that's full of bugs or feels very unfinished. So that's why I feel that Xbox 360 had that era or generation where developers knows that, hey, if you want to make a great games for the people out there, for the gamers out there, we gotta make a game that we are proud of, that we know that is gonna be something that can resonate and that can connect with the gamers. So yeah, but Phil Spencer, I think he's an amazing guy. I think he has done a great job in building up the Xbox brands and all that. And I have nothing but great love and great respect for the guy. I think he's one of the coolest boss out there. I think he knows his passions for games can be felt. So when the new boss took over, was it Asha Sharma, if I'm not wrong? I know nothing about her. I was skeptical, and primarily because I do not know who she is. I do not know what's her background, and I'm not even sure that she speaks the language of the Xbox community as a whole. So it was more like a wait and see kind of approach. But boy, the moment she stepped into the office and the moment she starts to, make a lot of decisions, I felt, whoa, okay, something's interesting. She starts from killing the via our Xbox kind of marketing just to become Xbox, and a lot of things, the decision that she makes, it kind of feels like, hey, that she's creating something. I would say, she has something up her sleeve. It's more like a wait and see. But I think the thing that really caught my attention was when she and the team created this, Xbox 25th anniversary edition. That's the one that really caught my attention, and I feel that they are cooking something, and I want to see. Speaking of which, I do know that they are very hard at work in developing for the next Xbox, the next Xbox console. They call it the Xbox Helix, if I'm not wrong. I do not know what's the detail of the Xbox. I do not know what is the specs. I do not know how it's gonna look like. I do not know how it's gonna be like, and I don't even know it's gonna release. But I do know that they're in the work, and I do know that they are hard at work. And if my theory is correct, and if they are going back to the Xbox route, where it's all about creating a game by gamers for gamers, creating that capturing that fun and exciting moments where you're not just experiencing for yourself, you're also getting to share the experience with other people. If they are trying to go back to the golden era of the Xbox 360, I'm all up for it. But I do not want them to copy Xbox 360 because I think that generation, that era was for that particular generation. So for the new generation, I just want them to know that, hey, if you're gonna succeed, you gotta listen to the community, man. You gotta listen to what they like, what they don't like about it. And when you listen to people's honest feedback, you realize that Xbox community are a passionate group of community. They know what they want. They want to be inspired. They want to be amazed. They want to be captivated, and they want to be blown away. But at the same time, they also do not want to be disappointed. You know, you when you say you're gonna release something and you are not releasing it, or you're releasing it in a very half-baked version, I think that will really disappoint a lot of people. So I think building that trust, is a very important things to do. Actually, I would say. But if what the new boss and the new Xbox teams are doing right now, I'm fairly certain they're able to pull through. Just keep yourself grounded. Try not to please a lot of try not to please everyone, and eventually not succeeding. I would say, because at the end of the day, is that you cannot please everybody. You gotta know what kind of Xbox generation that you're trying to create, so that when once that particular generation, maybe when the Xbox Helix generation is over, at least people can look back and say that, yo, that's like one of the best generation I've ever had. So what's next? So that is something that I think you really want community to have, that kind of conversations. Oh, speaking of which, I do have a list of things that I want from Xbox Helix Xbox team. Please hear me out. So there's three things that I do want from the Xbox Helix. Number one, as I mentioned again, bring back the golden era of the Xbox 360 vibe. That awesome game made with love by awesome developers. It's like, for us gamers, we know the developers love making that games because we feel it when we play it. It's very hard for me to explain, but we just know it. And it's also because it's a bugs-free game. We don't want to play games with the developers' mentality that, oh, we're gonna fix it later. Please don't. We don't want it to be fixed later. We want it to be fixed now before you guys release. Like, come on, guys, please. And second thing I want from Xbox Helix is we should be able to use our favorite PC compatible webcam and headset, because I don't want to keep on buying a new set of webcam, a new set for headset just for the Xbox alone. We got a lot of things at home. We just want to make use of what we have with the equipment that we love. So pretty please make it PC compatible friendly for the new Xbox. And last but not least, please can you make the Xbox streamer friendly? No lags, no streaming hiccups and all that. So that we want to be able to stream directly from our Xbox to Twitch, to YouTube, or to any other streaming platform. But I think the codec and the software magic behind it has to be right, I would say. So if you can make these three things work, pretty please, we love you. We really, really love you. All right. Moving on. Oh yeah, speaking of which, I want to show you guys something. Okay, let's see if we can try to see the Xbox original. So okay, so if I were to recall correctly, this is how it looks like, right? Hold on, let me see if I can. Okay, so this is this is how it looks like, the original one. I won't lie to you. It's big, it's huge, it's ginormous, and it is freaking monstrous. So I remember that you had like a 4-port, it was designed to be a multiplayer where you can, okay, so if I were to recall correctly, back in the old days, back in those days, a game console is like a tool or a platform where friends and families get together, sit down together, and just play together on one single console, on one single TV, on one single locations. Back then was before I think internet took off. But back in those days, to have like groups of friends coming in, playing together, like sharing controllers. Uh, if I lose your turn, if I win, I get to continue to the next round. That kind of mentality, that that create like a very good, a very dynamic and a very fun social environments. It's all about us talking to our friends, like communicating there and then. It's like, hey, that that level that you just went through, I think it was very hard. Do you want to try another methods? When you get to talk to each other, when you get to share problems and solving problems together, that's like a experience that I don't think the current gamers would know. But that's something I think those gamers who are still there, that um, that unique and that how do I put it? That closeness that we get to share our gaming experience with each other. I would say that, okay, let's say for example, when you have Project Gotham Racing, it's a racing game, nothing to do with Batman. When you have four people playing together with four split screen, surprisingly, the game console was able to handle that kind of like graphically intensive, demanding output. But when you have that four friends playing together, right? You can hear people cheering for each other, people trash talking to each other, like there and then. And you can get to feel that vibe, that energy, that kind of like that brings out on that particular period of point of time, and that is something that I feel that we're kind of like missing as of now, because we're so used to having like playing everything all online at our own home. And I get to play online with people. I'm in Singapore and I get to play with people from Malaysia or Philippines. But when you are there on location, having your own controller, play with your friends, this is a very different experience. I would say it's something that forces you to kind of like talk to each other. you know you don't have to worry about being socially awkward because people's having fun, and the cheering, the screamings, and the booing and the trash talking. It kind of like creates a very unique gaming experience as a whole that I think we're kind of like missing. I do hope that, I'm not sure whether the current market or the current world environment, I'm not sure whether they're ready for that. But if you ask me honestly, I would be more than you know more than happy if we can bring that culture back again, where people can just sit down together, play on a single platform, play on a single Xbox, on a single TV, trash talking to each other, just having fun. um I think the split screen games kind of like died down after the 360, if I'm not wrong, because I do remember Xbox One they do have, but not that much. um I'm not sure. Maybe because the due to market decline, that it doesn't resonate with the current markets or what. But I don't know. But yeah. So speaking of which, my favorite from the original Xbox, is still Halo Combat Evolve. I still think that it's like one of the best games. It just feels so badass, I would say. And I do remember playing Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2005 version on Xbox and Xbox 360. But to me, I feel that the original Xbox is defined by the Halo game. Um, I do remember they do have, I don't know, the Gears of War didn't came. Yeah, the Gears of War didn't came during this particular period. But I do remember seeing Halo. I do remember seeing Fable. That's one. Um, Fable was okay to me. It just doesn't, it just doesn't feel like uh something that I was interested in. But if you ask me that time when I think there was a tight competition between the Xbox and the PlayStation 2, and I know Xbox was like really aggressively trying to make a mark in the gaming industry. But I would say they were the underdogs. Not many people know what is Xbox. They thought that it was just another unknown company without them realizing that it was actually Microsoft. They felt that, it is something that will be, it will not be sellable. And it will not come out a lot of great games to play with. I do remember playing, was it Spider-Man 2, if I'm not wrong, on the Xbox one, on the original Xbox. It just doesn't feel right. It just feels completely off. I still prefer to play Spider-Man 2 on the PlayStation 2. That feels much more uh better to play with the experience, I would say. So yeah, so this was my very first experience of playing Xbox, my very memory. And if I were to go to the next one, Xbox 360, this was like, whoa, hold on. This was like, guys, no, not this one. This was the best. I would say this was like the golden era of Xbox. I don't care what you're gonna say about this, but I just feel like this is really, the goat of all the Xbox console. Um, I think I feel that we have this hard disk on the top, which it feels like bit bulging on, but I just felt that the design is just like, it's just chef kiss, yo. I don't know how to put it. You got a white, you got a silver, you get a metallic, especially the disc tray. It feels so, whoa, it feels so sexy, I would say. And I do remember that this Xbox 360 was notoriously famous for the three, what was it, the three red line, I think, the three red rings, if I'm not wrong, the three rings. I know it was a red the red rings of death, I think, if I'm not wrong. So if you 360 got it, you're dead. And you won't be able to use the console anymore. But if you were to ask me honestly, I feel that 360. Okay, let's rewind back. You don't have to pronounce Xbox 360 Xbox 360. You just have to call it 360, and straight away people know that you're talking about the Xbox, right? It just feels so easy to say from your tongue. 360, 360. Yo, what do you have? 360. You're talking about the Xbox, right? Yeah, talking about the Xbox, yo. So I think back in the day, I think 360 was fighting against PlayStation 3, if I'm not wrong. But I do remember that between all the games that came out, I remember that in terms of the technical point of view, the games that came out in 360 feels more polished as compared to PlayStation 3. I do not know why. It just feels more polished, and the color feels more vibrant, and still feels more cinematic. I still remember playing Need for Speed Most Wanted, the 2005 on the 360, and I tell you, whoa, whoa. I played both on the PS3 and on the 360. I still goes back to the 360, primarily because, as I mentioned earlier on, the controller feels like a French kiss. You look at the joystick, the design of the joystick and the D-pad and the buttons. I think they did a huge improvement on the button layout. Now the XYBA, the buttons are all evenly spaced out. It feels more comfortable to press, and the Xbox logo, you can press on it. I think, if I'm not wrong, to connect the controller to the console. and the joystick and the shoulder button. Oh my god, it just feels so whoa. It just feels so French kiss, yo. I love it. I really love it. And in general, you got great games coming out. You got games that feels like ridiculously polished and bugs free. And you just and when the moment you pop the disc inside the X360, you can just run it and it will feels buttery smooth, no glitches, no bugs or anything. And on top of that, you want to add that console design. It's just and also the controller, the ergonomics feels. If I just feel that 360 is like really the golden era. Is like you cannot go wrong with 360's era. And I do remember that they I think towards the end of the life cycle of 360, they did bundle up with this Microsoft Kinect, if I'm not wrong, the camera, and that was another different experience of playing the game. And I remember, you know, what was it? Playing Dance Central on it. It just feels so. It's like using your hand and your body and your limbs, and the camera just detected. I don't know what kind of algorithm they use inside, but it just works. And the dance movement that you make, in the sequence and all that, it's just registered by the system, and it's like whoa. Can't they just go back to the 360 eras where you make games that are so fun, they are so wild, they are so um risky, but able to pull off successfully, I would say. You gotta trust the developers, man, on this. I would say that if you have a developers who spend so many hours making the same type of genre over and over again, and if you allow them to kind of like flex their muscles, stretch their legs, allow them to explore something that they are really, really trying to scratch the itch, I'm telling you, you're gonna you're gonna have them creating magic. And I do want the Xbox team to really continue creating magics. Do not allow any, corporate bureaucracy or any red tapes stops you. I mean, Xbox was made by a gamer for a gamer. And if anybody tries to say otherwise, I don't think you should associate them with Xbox. I think you should just remove them from the equation. Um, in a very polite way, please. Um, so yeah, so yeah, so this is 360. I still feel that this one of like the best console out there, the best experience ever. And let me see if I can find. And now we go back to the Xbox One, which I feel that it's a bit like a meh kind of like generation, because I think they're trying to do something new, but ultimately it failed. I would say. I do remember in during the launch of the Xbox One, the top one, they did bundle with the Kinect camera, right? And it just fails spectacularly just because it's so big and so ginormous. And I remember that between PS4 and Xbox One, I would say the price point was so ridiculously expensive that the moment they revealed the price for Xbox One, it was immediately clear that Xbox was going to lose, and PS4 was the clear winner from the day one of the price release. And you know how bad you have to mess it up, that the moment you reveal the price itself, people straight away know that you're gonna lose. Even though you haven't even released like great games and all that. So I think that is like one of the darkest moment, I would say, in Xbox generation, I would say. So you had the 360 era that is like so at the top, and to fail spectacularly in the Xbox One generation just by revealing the price point, it's like, yo, yo, come on, guys. So yeah, and on top of that, I love the controller, the Xbox One controller. I still think that it looks kind of sleek, kind of cool, kind of like functional. It feels a bit lean for me, I would say. 360, it feels a bit more playful to the touch. The ergonomics feels on it. Xbox One feels a bit sterile. I don't know how to put it in words. It just feels like sterile and okay. And don't get me started with the Xbox interface, the Xbox One interface. It was a huge challenge trying to navigate the menu. And if you are not that well versed in the Xbox One interface, you're gonna have a very hard time trying to find the games, trying to find your save options, trying to find your where you save the pictures and all that. It just feels not very intuitive. You struggle, I would say. So for me, my major beef with the Xbox One is definitely the size of the console, the price, and the user interface. I just feel that there's a lot of too many steps for you to get from point A to point B. And over the years, they kind of like redesign some of the console. I did remember getting the Xbox they call it the sad version, I would say, but it's an all digital version. This means there's no disc. Just because I didn't want the disc version of the Xbox One. I tried to play the game. I didn't enjoy it as much as I would love to. It just because I just felt that it feels so empty. There's not that much game to really prove why you should get an Xbox. I think they did try so hard. I do remember playing what was it? Halo 4, I think. I had a fun time, but Halo 4, I think, is to me still okay. Between Halo 3 and Halo 4, I would lean more to Halo 4 just because of the Cortana and the Master Chief storyline. I don't want to spoil you guys, but I just felt that that game really solidifies Master Chief and Cortana's characters and relationship. I think to me, it's what makes me fall in love with Halo in the first place. Anyway, so back to the Xbox. I just felt that the original Xbox One console was big and clunky, and especially the power brick that is externally placed outside. It just feels very too much stuff. And then they were able to redesign the Xbox One to make the power brick, be fitted inside the console itself, and they streamline cables a bit more, which I think is still a step on the right direction, lah. But I will say that to me, I find the Xbox One generation to be the most uninspiring, just because there was not that much games being released that really shape Xbox One as Xbox One, I would say. And then after that, but when they went to Xbox Series X and S, that's where I felt that okay, maybe they are onto something, right? See if I can try to. Okay, here you go. Oh no. Hold on, let me see if I can try to find a better pictures for this. I would say that Xbox Series X was more like a course correction for them. To bring back the Xbox back to where it started. What makes Xbox itself. I can find it. I can't find a good picture. So I think I'm just gonna use this actually. PC Mac, I'm so sorry, but please don't sue me. So yeah. So okay, so I'm a bit confused by the decision to release Series X and Series S, both for Xbox. I feel that they are targeted to two very, very different target audience. I feel that Series X is the more premium version. I think I think Series X was originally meant to be the definitive next generation game console, but Series S, the one in white, I feel that they tried to compromise, for those who have like clearly have a bit of like uh budget constraints. I think they're trying to cater to that, which is not wrong, but it kind of suffers in terms of the game quality. When you are forcing the developers to create games on Xbox for two completely different consoles, then you're giving the developers another headache. It's like, whoa, okay. So if I'm able to optimize on Series X, but I'm not able to optimize for Series S, then does it mean that I'm getting penalized? Case in point, like Cyberpunk 2077, it runs smoothly on Series X, but on Series S, it's like, mm, yeah. So I do not know what was the thought process. I did get a Series X eventually because I feel that that's like the definitive version of the next generation Xbox game console. The controllers to me, it feels almost identical to Xbox One. A bit uninspiring, I think a bit of changes here and there in terms of the button layouts, but I just feel that it's not something that I'm more um inclined to use more. But if you ask me honestly, Xbox One controller feel heavier than Series X. And Series X, I think they were able to kind of like shave off some of the kilograms, which I'm holding right now. You can see it right now. I feel more comfortable with the Series X as compared to Xbox One. I just feel that they are able to improve the grip, especially the grip, the texture of the grip. It's still a bummer that they still are using the AA batteries from Series X, from 360 all the way until Series X and S. I understand where they're coming from when they say that they didn't want to use a lithium battery because it will so-called degrade over time. You will lose your charges, which I don't fault them. And also, I think if I'm not wrong, also they do sell, external parties. They do sell like an options to put in rechargeable batteries into the 360 into the Series X controller for you guys to recharge after use. But to me, I feel that the D-pad for the Series X is way more comfortable than the Xbox One, and it kind of like reminiscence back to the 360 eras of the D-pad. Again, I'm just quoting 360 because I just feel that it's the goat actually lah. But I would say it's a bit uninspiring because I feel that the XYBA buttons feels a bit closer to each other, I would say, and sometimes when I want to press A, I might accidentally press B. Maybe because of my muscle memory of using 360 a lot. That makes me have a different muscle memory in terms of how I press the button. But I think that in general, it's a well built controller. But again, it just feels a bit sterile, a bit more uninspiring, I would say. But if you ask me honestly, in terms of the size, it really does fit into the Asian size. Hence, in general, I love that they use the Type C port on the controller because I feel that for them to use the Type C, Type C is really a widely used cable as of now. So I think they really fits into that particular generations. Moving forward, I do not know the next generation what kind of port they're gonna use, but yeah. And please, for the love of God, can you please get rid of this port below the controller? I see one 3.5 millimeter jack audio. There is one, but the one in between, I do not know what port is this for? And frankly speaking, I've never used this port before, so I'm not sure what is it for. Is it for the keyboard or something? I do not know. Yeah, so it's not something that I would want to use, I would say, for that particular port, because I do not know what that port is for. But in terms of the controls and everything, the buttons, it feels solid, but not as solid as 360. I just feel like 360 still has the best control ergonomics design so far. So moving forward for the Xbox Helix, I do not know whether it's gonna be. I do not know whether that's gonna be the final name or whether you're gonna change the name into something more cooler. But if they were to name the next Xbox console name, please make it named such a way that it is easy for us to say, instead of Xbox Series X, Xbox Series S, Xbox One. You know, maybe you want to do like, maybe you guys want to like go through the dictionary or something, or maybe you can just ask around, what do you think would be a cooler name for the next Xbox? I don't mind going to the Xbox, but you cannot use the same name as the OG Xbox. 360 is a number. We have never used a game console with a numbering system before, like Xbox 360. But I just feel that 360 is easier to roll, easier for the tongue, easier for the tongue to kind of like phonetically say it out loud. But I do understand that different cultures, they have a different. Some of the letterings is easy for them to speak, to say it out, and some of the letterings are very hard for them to say. So if you can create a name that is universally easier to speak, to say it out loud, that would be great. But please, for the love of God, use a cooler name, please. I have no idea as of right now, but I do believe that if anyone from the Xbox team is able to come up with a cool name, you should give that guy a bonus, man, or a person. In terms of the Xbox design, I would love them to keep the new green translucent, because I feel that is like the Xbox identity itself. You cannot go back to the black and white kind of design, because this feels very uninspiring. Just keep that green translucent logo, and I can tell you honestly, that would be the brand that you might want to go for, actually. The brand identity that you want to go for. And lastly, for the love of God, can you please create a much more intuitive menu navigation layout thing? I still think that 360 still have the best layout, because it's like just a few buttons and a few navigation here and there, and you're able to get from point A to point B. Oh, I almost forgot. Can you guys create a very hypnotically, like, can't get that music out of your head kind of like intro chime, make it cool, make it sound like something that can bring inspiration, joy, and fun to it. Go back to, I would say that you might want to go back, if you can, guys, if you can mesh the OG Xbox startup sound and the animations, and the 360 startup sound and animations. I do not know how you're gonna do it, but I'm sure somebody can find a way to it. If you can mesh these two legends items or traits together, I would say that you can create something cool. Yeah, that's something for you guys to think about, actually. Other than that, I got nothing but great love for the Xbox team. I hope that with the new generation and the next generation coming out, they can create something cool, something special, something that can inspire, inspire the Xbox community, and also at the same time inspire the competitors, the PlayStation and Nintendo, even though you guys are competitors, but I do believe that you guys have great love for each other. So love, not war, peace. Um, so yeah, I just can't wait. What's next for the? I just cannot wait for the next generation of Xbox. How it's gonna look like? How it's gonna be like? How it's gonna sound like? How it's gonna feel like? What kind of games is gonna come out next? I'm just looking forward to it. Um, so yeah, so that is all I'm gonna say as of right now. I just wanna let it out of my chest. So I'm done letting it out of my chest. Um, now time check is 12:33. I think I just have to say what I want to say. So that is all for now. I'm not sure when is the next time I'm gonna stream, but hopefully the next time I'm gonna stream is gonna be a bit more longer. I hope so. So we'll see how it goes. Until then, take care of you, everybody, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.